Before we talk about airport English, we need to clarify one thing. Airports are not communication-friendly environments. They are institutional systems designed to control movement, verify identity, and reduce uncertainty.
And that is exactly why many people who speak English well suddenly feel uncomfortable at airports. Not because their English is weak, but because the rules of language change.
In this lesson, we are not teaching phrases. We are explaining how English functions inside an institution. From the moment you enter a taxi to the moment you check into a hotel at your destination.
This is airport English. Not as conversation, but as system-based communication.
Throughout this lesson, Olivia and I will guide you through a complete airport journey in Europe. We will not role-play as random passengers. We will act as analysts inside the situation, explaining why certain expressions work, why others fail, and how institutions shape the way English is used.
If you are an upper intermediate or advanced learner, this lesson is designed to help you move from knowing English to operating in English. Let's start before the airport itself. The first interaction usually happens in a taxi or a ride-hailing service. At this point, English is still social, but time pressure already exists.
And this is where many learners make their first mistake. They express urgency emotionally instead of pragmatically.
So imagine we've just entered the taxi.
Right. The driver asks, "Where to?"
The correct response is not long. You don't explain your flight. You don't justify your urgency. You say, Terminal 2. Departures.
Exactly. Clear destination first. Then, if time matters, you frame urgency indirectly. For example, "We're slightly short on time today."
This sentence is important academically. It does three things at once. First, it signals urgency. Second, it avoids pressure. Third, it leaves the decision-making to the driver.
In European service contexts, this indirectness is not weakness. It is cooperation.
From a pragmatic perspective, this is called mitigated urgency. You communicate a constraint without issuing a command. This pattern appears repeatedly in airport English.
The moment you enter the airport, English stops being conversational. It becomes procedural.
And procedural English follows very different rules. At the check-in counter, you are no longer negotiating socially. You are interacting with an institution through a human representative.
This is why the language suddenly feels colder. The agent usually begins with, "May I see your passport, please?"
Notice the structure. It sounds polite, but the action is not optional. You comply. Here you are. Now let's introduce a common problem. The agent says, "Your bag is slightly overweight."
This sentence is passive. No one made the bag overweight. No one is blamed. The system is speaking.
Many learners apologize immediately. Others argue. Both reactions misunderstand the situation.
A more effective response is there any flexibility? Or would you recommend removing an item?
This response does not challenge authority. It asks the system, what solutions are available?
Institutional English often removes agency. Phrases like, "Your bag is overweight," "A fee is required," "Boarding is delayed," are not personal statements. They are procedural outputs. Understanding this reduces emotional stress and improves decision-making.
Next, the agent gives information. Your seats are 18A and 18B. Boarding will be from gate C34.
At this stage, there is no conversation. There is only confirmation. Security is where English becomes minimal.
And this confuses many advanced learners. Because politeness markers disappear. You hear, "Laptops out. Liquids in the tray. Shoes off."
These are not rude sentences. They are efficiency-driven imperatives.
From a discourse perspective, security language is designed for speed, not relationship building. Trying to engage socially here slows the system down.
Advanced proficiency means recognizing when not to speak.
Once security is cleared, control temporarily returns to the passenger. This is where waiting begins.
And where uncertainty enters the system.
After security, passengers regain a sense of control. You can walk freely, choose where to sit, and decide how to spend your time. But this control is temporary.
Because airports are dynamic systems. Schedules are projections, not guarantees. And when something changes, language is used to manage the reaction.
At the gate, an announcement is made. Due to operational reasons, this flight will be delayed by approximately 1 hour.
This sentence is academically interesting. Not because of what it explains, but because of what it does not explain.
The phrase operational reasons is intentionally vague. It does not describe a cause. It does not assign responsibility. And it does not invite follow-up questions.
In institutional communication, this type of language serves 3 functions. First, it manages expectations. Second, it limits liability. Third, it preserves flexibility.
This is common across European airlines. Transparency is balanced against risk. And language reflects that balance.
Now, how should a passenger respond? Many learners feel the urge to ask, why is the flight delayed? Or, what exactly happened?
But these questions rarely produce useful answers. A more strategic response focuses on outcomes, not causes. A more effective question would be, do we have an updated boarding time?
Or, will the connection be affected?
These questions align with the system's priorities. They ask for actionable information, not explanations.
Advanced English at airports is not about sounding fluent. It is about remaining functional under uncertainty.
Understanding how institutions communicate helps reduce emotional friction. You stop taking vague language personally and start interpreting it structurally. During the delay, passengers often eat. Airport dining is a useful linguistic environment because it looks social, but it remains highly structured.
Service interactions rely on ritual language. Both sides know the script.
The server approaches and says, "Are you ready to order?"
Notice the function. This is not a genuine question about readiness. It is a transition signal.
You respond, "Yes. I'll have the chicken sandwich."
Or, more neutrally, "Just a coffee, please."
In service English, brevity is not impolite. It signals efficiency and cooperation. Excessive explanation can slow the interaction and confuse expectations.
This contrasts with some learners' instincts to soften every request. At airports, ritual language already performs that function. When boarding begins, movement becomes regulated again.
Language here is instructional, but framed politely. Passengers in Group B may now board.
The modal verb may suggests permission, but the structure remains directive.
Once on the aircraft, cabin crew interactions are brief. "Welcome aboard. Your seat is this way."
Passengers are expected to respond minimally. "Thank you. Here you go."
Later, the crew asks, "Chicken or pasta?"
This is a closed choice. Your response should match that structure. "I'll go with the chicken."
This phrase softens the decision without adding unnecessary politeness. It is neither casual nor formal. It is neutral.
Closed choice questions dominate institutional English. They reduce ambiguity and speed up processing. Responding within the offered framework signals competence.
Once the meal service ends, language withdraws.
Silence becomes the default mode. This is not social withdrawal. It is system efficiency.
From a discourse perspective, this is a transition from interaction to non-interaction. Understanding this helps learners avoid unnecessary engagement.
Upon arrival, language becomes highly sensitive again.
Immigration is a verification process, not a conversation. The officer asks, "Purpose of visit?"
The correct response is concise: business or tourism.
Next question. How long will you be staying?
3 days.
Over-explaining introduces risk. It creates inconsistencies and unnecessary detail.
Advanced airport English means knowing when information is sufficient.
At the hotel, English shifts again. This is still an institution, but with more flexibility.
Service and negotiation coexist here.
The receptionist asks, "May I have your passport, please?"
You respond, "Of course. We have a reservation under Liam Carter."
If you need something extra, you acknowledge first. "I understand the standard check-in time is 3 p.m.
Then you request conditionally, "Would it be possible to check in a bit earlier?"
Conditional structures protect both sides. They express desire without expectation. This balance is central to institutional service English.
Airport English is not about fluency in the traditional sense.
It is about situational awareness, understanding where you are, who controls the interaction, and what type of language the system expects.
When you understand this, airports stop feeling hostile. They become predictable.
And English stops being a test of confidence. It becomes a tool for navigating systems calmly and accurately.
This is the foundation of advanced proficiency. Not sounding fluent, but functioning effectively. So far, we have followed a complete airport journey. From the uncertainty of ground transport to institutional procedures at check-in, security, boarding, and finally arrival in a foreign country. What this journey reveals is not simply vocabulary. It reveals how English operates as a functional system inside highly regulated environments.
This is why many advanced learners struggle. Not because their English is insufficient, but because airport communication follows a different linguistic logic. Here, English is used to manage time, risk, identity, and responsibility.
Throughout this lesson, we did not ask you to memorize phrases. Instead, we examined why certain expressions are preferred, how indirect language reduces friction, and how institutional English prioritizes clarity over personality. This approach allows you to adapt, even when situations change, such as flight delays, schedule adjustments, or unexpected procedural requests.
Thank you for learning with us. This is Marin English Lab, where English is not taught as performance, but as applied understanding. We look forward to continuing this journey with you in the next lesson.